Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. Today I have something I've wanted for a really long time. A set of DT990 Pros. But not just any DT990 Pros. Black limited edition DT990 Pros. They had these on sale for $150 on Newegg and Amazon, so we obviously jumped right on that. I know there is hundreds of reviews of the normal 990 Pros, but I only found two other videos of the black limited edition one, so let's unbox it. Now, first off, these came from a seller called Focus Camera LLC, which I'm not really familiar with. This is the seller both on Amazon and Newegg. I read some reviews about people receiving these broken or with different ear cups than they should have, or one side being messed up, so I'm going to say I don't know if these are even new. I don't know if they're refurbished. This is a surprise to me too. What I will say is I'm pretty disappointed in how the box came because it didn't even come in a box. Well, the headphones are in a box, but the box didn't come in a box. All they did was slap on the shipping label right on the front, as you see here, and this is how it came to my door. I took the label off since it had all my personal information on it, but you can see where it didn't come off very well. Anyways, let's get to the important part, the unboxing. Here's the front. Here's the side. Here's the back, if you guys want to read that. Here's the other side. There's the bottom, and this has our information on it. If you guys want to pause and read that, you're welcome to. Now, something to note is I'm unsure if this is the factory seal or not. I know this is a Beyerdynamic sticker because it has the Beyer sign on it. But I've seen a few other unboxings and some of these came with a different seal. It was like a long seal that just said Beyerdynamics on it. So that could mean that these are in fact used or returns or refurbished. Could also be why they're only $150 too. I can't say for sure. We're going to find out together. Alright guys. So right out the gate, this... I definitely got ruffled around in there a bit in shipping, that's for sure, but that's how she looks in the box. Let's go ahead and pull her out here. And that, my friends, is all there is. So we're going to set the box out of view here. We're going to set these right over here for now. We're going to drop everything because we're excited. So what we dropped here was the, I'm going to assume it's a manual. If you guys want to pause and look through this at any point. My lighting is not doing very well today. Look at all the shadows. I apologize, guys. I will get that fixed by the next video, I promise. And this right here, I'm going to assume is a bag for these. Yeah, we got like a little sweet little pouch for these things here. There's Let me lay that out for you guys so y'all can get a nice view of that. Here's the normal, just a normal little, I don't know what material this even is. Y'all can probably hear that, but yeah, it's very cheap. Almost feels like something that a camping chair would come in. You know, like those little camping chair bags. On to the main point of the video, the headphones. Nothing else in there. Okay, I'll get all this undone. Here's the headphones themselves. So, these are plastic. All this is plastic. I'm sure you guys have seen other videos about that. This is metal. Actually, that feels really good. They got a little rotation in them. These are really lightweight. Oh, and those head cups feel pretty good too. I love the way that looks, guys. That looks beautiful. I love the way that looks. Looks so good. And the ear cups themselves actually do feel really good. Oh my god, that feels amazing. Alright, well, let's take it over to the PC and do the rest. So we're back at the PC. I haven't even put these things on yet, so let's do that. Alright, these things feel amazing. I love how these things feel. They do have a lot more clamping force than I'm used to. It's not bad. The velour ear cups really ease up on the tension, and I can already tell glasses with these are not going to be an issue. I can put my glasses on and off just fine, but it's still pretty tight around the ears. Also, these things are really lightweight, which bodes really well for those of us that work a long time in the studio or doing any kind of creative work or maybe long gaming sessions. My old headphones did a really good job at noise cancellation, and I can tell you, because these are open backs, I can hear everything in the room. My air conditioner, my laptop fans, my keyboard. I hear all of it. Every single bit. Let's get into some music tests. I want to start with rock and roll, like some old Def Leppard or something. Let's do Def Leppard Hysteria. Okay, I'm hearing there's not much low end on these. Right away, my headphones that I used before this was very bass heavy, like subwoofers on your head. These are completely void of low end. I don't know how well that will translate to rap or hip hop. Now, I'm not going to say these have no low end, but on my old EQ settings on my mixer, it just lacks impact that I'm used to. The mids feel nicely placed though. The highs are bright, and the highs are really bright. And I read a lot of people saying it's painful and almost stabbing. I'm not getting that. Honestly, at least not in this song. Even with elevated highs in my EQ, it's crisp, but I'm not getting like a painful feeling from it. In fact, it sounds clear and vibrant. I can hear some sibilance in the S's. I have a lisp. I can't do it, but I do hear it, like, in the music. which in a mixing environment is going to be good for hearing all those highs separated in a way that you can high cut your drums if you need to, and set male and female vocals properly. Let me check some other rock songs. Okay, I checked out Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, and honestly, this might be the best I've ever heard it. Ever. It sounds open and full. I heard things I didn't hear before, and to finish up on rock, I tried out some Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train, and saying there's a lack of low end doesn't seem fair. I can hear the bass really well. It's very isolated and clear, but it just doesn't have, like, impact. It's very neutral. Most other headphones, you can't really hear the bass line in this particular song very well. You can even hear how sterile the guitars sound. Thin and almost shrill. Most other headphones would give it that big wall of sound that, if you've heard Crazy Train, you know what I'm talking about. And this is what I feel is closer to what they heard in the studio. And one more thing to note is the clarity is so good. I never noticed this before, but I think Randy is double tracking his guitar solo. It's always blended so well before that I thought it was just a single solo. But I'm hearing a clear separation and difference in both sides. That's incredible. Alright, I'm gonna try out some metal. That's my forte, and let's see how these handle metal. Okay, so I spent a while listening to different things. I tested some Bullet from Valentine, a few songs from the Poison album, the Gravity album. I tested some symphonic metal within Temptation, Nightwish, and some power metal like Dragon Force, Where the Dragons Rule, and of course Through the Fire and Flames, Camelot, Orden Ogan, and let me tell you, I couldn't handle the lack of low end for media consumption, so I adjusted my EQ to compensate for that. I actually dialed the EQ way up. I'll put that on the screen right now. And yes, I'm aware I'm used to insanely elevated bass, but after pushing these, I can tell you that these push an incredible amount of low end for open backs. Out the box and perfectly flat, they are neutral. You're going to get neutral. Now, I've seen the chart, and I hear that there's a slight V curve going on. I hear the highs, I hear a bit of the lows, I do. Compared to most consumer headphones, whether people want to admit it, these are neutral. These are very neutral out the box. When you start adding EQ in, they take EQ really good. I cannot express how impressed I am with how much I've been able to push the bass on open backs. Open backs are not made for that. I also need to make it clear that I talk a lot about the low end and it lacking it like without any EQ work. And I need to bring up this fact that open backs are not made for heavy bass. They're made for spatial awareness. They're made for like a stereo spread. They're made to get a good stereo image. They're made to get a good sound stage. They're made to sound more like you have speakers near your head rather than on your head. If you want more low end and bass, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to want the DT990s instead, because these are very airy in the bass. So lastly, since we just talked about bass, I'm going to do a hip-hop listening session. And we're just going to get a grasp for how they actually do in low bass situations. Okay, so I've listened through a lot of random hip-hop. One I'm going to bring up is Young Jeezy put on If you guys are familiar with that, or if you have subwoofers in your car, you know in the beginning there is some continuous bass that crushes everything. It's a good way to lose your rearview mirror. A personal experience. It's similar to On My Level by Wiz Khalifa, which I also listen to. I will say that after pushing up the low end on my EQ, it pushes low end really well. But that does not translate well when you switch to your studio monitors, because suddenly they're really bloated and inflated and just vibrating your whole house. So I think I can conclude that these are just not very good for mixing hip hop. I think the Audio Technica M50Xs are probably a lot better for that. For music listening, I think they sound really good when you do boost the low end up. And one other note, the bass frequencies all sound even to me. The bass extension is incredibly low. I'm hearing stuff down to 15 hertz. Barely, but it's there. Once you hit about 20 hertz and up, it all sounds really even to my ear. Usually, headphones or speakers in cars will have frequencies they sound best at. Like, let's say, like 40 to maybe 60 hertz. And then anything before that is quieter, and anything after that is quieter. In these, I'm hearing every single frequency about the same. Alright, it's about time for me to start my stream for the day. For those that don't know, I have a Twitch. I do a lot of gaming and stuff, so if you like that, come on over and hang out with me. I'm gonna spend the day breaking these in with some games and music, and I'm gonna come back tonight and we'll talk more about it. Now it's later in the evening, and I have spent the whole day using these on stream. I played games like League of Legends, Call of Duty. He is really hard to hit. Poor guy. You're gonna grenade me next, I know it. Older games like some emulated Super Nintendo. N64. I even played Final Fantasy X and a couple of other games, RPGs like that. Now, in older games, I actually heard things I had never heard before. That was pretty neat. Now, for Majora's Mask on N64, first of all, this is my favorite Zelda game ever. Clocktown never felt more alive and vibrant. The hammering, the dogs barking, and just running around, the frog, the fairies, everything felt vibrant. You could tell what direction things was happening. When you was in South Clocktown or another part of the town, you could actually hear the hammering coming from not just the distance, but like the direction of the action too. Older games like Final Fantasy X with really good music scores. They sounded amazing. The piano, voice acting, as cheesy and bad as it was, everything felt so nice. Almost couldn't stop playing. Played for like 2 hours. On to Call of Duty, I could hear everything. Did it make me play better? Actually, maybe. I could hear directions of gunshots, where they was going off, and even the distance. I was able to separate sounds like grenades and other explosives, and even different types of guns. And lastly, for the main reason you guys buy these headphones, mixing. In short summary, yeah, these are some of the best headphones I've ever used. I worked on my own song and didn't realize that the drums were really shrill in the top end. If I would have let that out, it would have sounded horrible to people with good speakers, and I was able to hear the issues and apply an EQ cut at 10K that fixed the issue. Some of you might not hear any difference, but it shaves off a bit of that high end in the drums and makes it a bit more pleasant to listen to. And I can even hear that it could use more of a treble cut. We could probably take it down to 8K instead of 10K and give it more room for vocals. I'm going to wrap up this part of the video by saying my first day impressions are they feel really good. They are way more comfy than my old headphones. The stereo image and separation is insane. I can hear every single frequency perfectly. Especially that top end, which can get away from you fast in a studio setting. The top, when you have female vocals, the top end sizzle of a distorted guitar, hi-hats and cymbals, possibly other instruments too. You don't just want to identify problem frequencies, you want to hear which instrument or which track it's coming from. These, I can tell you now, are perfect for that. The mids are also really, really good. I listen to songs with male and female vocal duets, like a few Amaranth songs and others, and I could easily tell, I could easily hear not just both vocalists perfectly, but how well balanced they was. And I even heard some vocal parts I had never even heard, like some backup vocal parts, like adding in like an 80s power scream over the final chorus, for example. And I had never even noticed that before, because it just blended really well in my other headphones, but I could hear it powerfully in these. For blues, rock, metal, and especially orchestral work, these are the best I've ever heard. Ever. Hands down, the best. I don't know that better are out there. Everything that I played sounded good, but let me go ahead and say right out of the gate that I don't think these are good for rap and hip hop. I think you would be better suited with some, with the 770 versions of these, the closebacks, which supposedly have a bit more bottom end. Or just get the Audio Technica M50Xs. And I know people are going to hate that answer, but too many gold and platinum albums have been released by not just artists, but studio professionals who use M50Xs for hip hop. And I see why. These don't have the thump and the power that you want to feel when you are mixing that type of stuff, or when you are tracking that type of thing. These don't have the thump and the power that you want when you're mixing or tracking this type of thing. So for rap and hip hop, I'd probably go somewhere else. But for music listening, I think these are really good. It's important to remember that these are not for everyday listening. These were never made for gaming. These are a precision tool. And first and foremost, these are studio production headphones. But with some EQ, I got a really energetic and exciting music listening experience. I will say that out of the box, they're bland. They're not that exciting. They're pretty boring. But they took EQ better than any others I had tried. I was able to pump up that low end an astonishing amount for open backs. Now, those out there without a mixer, you would need to just get some digital EQ software for your computer. It does the same thing. And there's a lot of free programs too, but there's some good paid ones too if you prefer that. If you aren't, and you only need to do that if you're not happy with these out of the box, because what I can tell you is that if you buy these and you're not happy with these out of the box, they do take EQ. You can equalize these and they will accept it happily and they'll sound however you want them to sound. If you want a lot of bass, these will do it. If you want to take out some of those highs, these will do it. If you want to push the mids up, these will do it. If you want to drown the mids out for that heavy V curve, these will do it. I guess that's pretty much all I have to say on these. I love them. And honestly, I think within one day they've already replaced my old tried and true headphones, and these will be what I start using from now on. I'm still going to add a set of Audio Technica M50Xs to my collection and some others because I feel it's different tools for different jobs. But guys, these genuinely do sound amazing, and if y'all get a chance to get some, get some. So that's been my unboxing and my review, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.